Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And there are strange developments in the North Lanarkshire Council by-election. You may recall that 2 of the party were expelled, 5 more resigned in protest because they were suspended, and then a further 8th SNP member actually quit the party in solidarity. All 8 have walked. They're no longer part of the SNP. They no longer represent the SNP on that council. They were, until today, independents, but they've got together and they have formed a new party. We're going to take a look at this, but it just goes to show that the SNP will have a major challenge in if they're trying to get these seats back at the next by-election, because obviously there's a by-election coming up because of the Linden seat, Jordan Linden, who had to resign initially over a claim that there was an inappropriate touching of an 18-year-old, but it now turns out that this is now a much wider, bigger case. The police have got involved. There are many claims against him, some going down into areas where there were children involved, but make of that what you will. But this new party, this new breakaway group, started a new party, so come the next elections, they will be the ones known to the electorate. The electorate will know their faces. They'll vote for them. Possibly in sufficient numbers they get their seat, but even if not, in sufficient numbers that it won't be going to the SNP. So it could actually end up with either a Labour or Conservative getting that seat, which would be utterly astounding from such a position that they were in. They were at one point, that it was an SNP council. So the SNP have badly handled this because, of course, they backed the perpetrator rather than the victim. And that's how all this started, was because they wanted to protect the perpetrator. That's the stupidity of the SNP. Anyway, we'll take a look at this, see what the new party is about. And it's strange because this is actually coming from the National, who you'd have thought would have buried this story and never wanted it released. But hey, occasionally things get through without control. So we'll take a look at it, see what's going on up in North Lanarkshire. So expelled former SNP councillors form a new party in North Lanarkshire. As I say, these were the 8 that resigned over the Jordan Linden affair. So North Lanarkshire councillors who've been expelled or resigned from the SNP are launching their own party. The new party, named Progressive Change North Lanarkshire, has been set up by 8 former SNP councillors who were expelled or resigned after raising concerns over the party's handling of the sexual misconduct complaint against former council leader Jordan Linden. As I say, the police are now fully investigating him. It's turning out to be far darker and deeper. And of course, the fact is, and this is something I knew I reported on, and I kind of dropped a few hints but I couldn't speak about, is that they all knew about this. They all knew about some of the terrible things he's done, and this went all the way up to the top, including Peter Murrell. So you can guarantee if he knew, Sturgeon knew. None of them went to the police. They all protected him. They're all guilty of this. This is what the SNP are. So it's going to be, I can see it being a major police investigation, especially if the police are minded to look to see who knew what. Anyway, councillors Paul Damasio, David Crichton were expelled from the North Lanarkshire SNP group on Tuesday, May the 2nd. Another 5 were given a 6-month suspension on Wednesday, May the 3rd, only to resign from the council group that evening in solidarity with their expelled colleagues. And I've covered all this, and this was actually standing up for what was right. I've got to say, amazingly, someone in the SNP with a sense of honour and decency. So I'm going to say well done to them for all 8 of them who left. Those stepping down included Councillor Cameron McManus, a complainant against Linden. And the 5 who resigned are Beth Bowdo, Jerry Brennan, Greg Lennon, Barry McCluskey and McManus himself. Jim Hume, a long-standing local councillor, joined them in leaving the party last week, and all 8 will form the new group. Damasio said, due to very unfortunate circumstances, we've found ourselves no longer in the SNP. Those unfortunate circumstances, of course, being that the SNP was more concerned about protecting the reputation of someone who does terrible things to people, rather than standing with and empathising with the victim of this person. And then letting everyone up the hierarchy know what this man has done, what this perpetrator has done, and not going to the police, not having an investigation, not expelling him, not doing a lot of things. They covered it up. They hid it. They protected people like this. They protect the perpetrators. Don't care about the victims, and that is why these guys did. They complained. They went up to Tracy Carragher, who is like the local convener. She told them, they're bringing the party into disrepute. She complained about them, and then they ended up getting punished for bringing a crime to light. And that just kind of sums up the problems within the SNP and their dedication to secrecy, dedication to protecting the party. It's almost like the Chinese Communist Party, party first, family second kind of thing. Anyway, he said, we absolutely need to focus on doing our best for our constituents locally. And the way we're able to do that is by being organised and working together. We are like-minded individuals with integrity, and that is how we end up in this situation. And we want to focus 100% on local issues. To be fair, they do appear to have integrity, and that is a very rare thing in politics. And so, yes, I will give them a little salute for that, because to do what they've done over this issue does show at least that they are humans. They do consider, and they are putting the victim first, not the party first. So well done to them. The group wrote to the SNP National Secretary Lorna Finn in March, alleging there'd been continual failings by the North Lanarkshire SNP leadership team. This is including a failure to investigate sexual misconduct and abuse of power. And of course they have. They did complain, and that was the whole point. That's why they got punished. McManus, who has waived his anonymity, resigned after colleagues were expelled under the accusation from the SNP group leadership of bringing the party into disrepute after standing with him. So you're bringing the party into disrepute by reporting a crime. I don't think there's much of a reputation to bring into disrepute, is there, if you're doing that sort of thing? The councillor wrote in his resignation letter to Finn and the SNP local government convener Kelly Parry that he could not join a meeting due to the environment perpetuated by the leadership. McManus wrote, I do not feel safe or welcome within the North Lanarkshire SNP group and the risk it is bringing to my mental and physical health. I will no longer be serving the council as an SNP councillor. The party treated all the resignations, and not just from the group but from the SNP, therefore removing the 5, including McManus, from the party. This means that all the councillors who previously represented the SNP now are independent, allowing the formation of Progressive Change North Lanarkshire. And that's the great thing. So now the SNP aren't there in North Lanarkshire, and hopefully that baleful influence that party has over everything it sort of touches will dissipate. Asked whether he had replied to the letter sent by the branch of Uddingston and Bells Hill, Hamza Yousaf said, I'll make sure I look at the letter and reply, obviously, in due course. I have been speaking to local members, MSPs, local councillors, in fact the leader of the SNP group as well. So only from one side. You're only hearing from the one side, yeah? Excellent. Really make your mind up there, sunshine. He said, we're absolutely holding our hands up. I, as First Minister and leader of the party, say that things, of course, could have been handled better. You mean you could have listened to the people making the complaints and acted on it and investigated the perpetrator rather than backing him, hiding the complaint and making sure that none of it came out, you mean? Excellent. After Yousaf spoke to the press, branch convener Alison Cameron said she spoke to him and handed over a physical copy of the letter she had sent on May the 5th. So he's had, 3 weeks to have a look at it and has done bugger all. Because of course he does. He is not capable of doing anything. He's certainly not capable of dealing with such a headache as losing an entire council due to mismanagement and really ignorance and stupidity. Again, ignorance and stupidity. It's the watchwords of the SNP. Anyway, I shall round off there and I shall come up. So there we are. The SNP out of power now, probably out of power for quite some time. Can't see them ever getting a foothold back in North Lanarkshire for maybe 10, 15 years now. These people have shown that they're intelligent and they have integrity. And the people, people who vote kind of like that kind of thing. They want honest politicians, and there's not many of them. And they want politicians who make a stand. And there's not many of them either. And certainly it'll make a change to have a party that isn't beholden to a single issue. So these councillors can hopefully just deal with the issues rather than having to deal with the issues with that glaze of independence covering them at all times. So I do wish them well. I do hope that North Lanarkshire gets a council it deserves, and that somebody can pick up the ball and run with it, and hopefully improve the lives of the people of that area. Because of course, of recent, well, months really, it's been, and probably years, it's been an absolute awful mess. The council itself is just filled with spite, bile and criminality, to be honest. Anyway, that'll do for that. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, but mostly leave a like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, vote wisely, and goodbye.